This podcast contains descriptions of extreme violence, body horror, and adult language. Please check the description for details. Viewer discretion is advised. You finally part ways with your fellow dredge as you continue to make your way down the street. You are now definitively in neutral zone territory, and you know that where you are right now, you would be closer to your apartment than Stitch's, but while you have regenerated your basic, organs and everything, your more complex parts, and not to mention your gun, which has been fucked up and is currently in bad shape, those need repairing. Stitch isn't necessarily an armorer by any means, but your more complex stuff he can at least take a look at. You curiously note that it seems that you are regenerating the more complex parts, but it's slower, and you don't know if that's something to do with your adrenaline having kind of faded or not, but you don't know. You can't help but feel this strange... It's not a fatigue so much as it is an absence of... It's an absence of energy that you didn't realize you had before. It's almost like you've realized that you are, hungry, but it's more like you just have noticed that there was something that you had when you were fighting that you don't anymore. It's exceedingly odd. It's a weird feeling, and you definitely know that it's tied to why you seem to be regenerating slower, and you can't help but feel... you don't have to roll for this. You know your body well enough. You actually kind of take a second, and you're walking, and you note that you feel notably lighter on your feet than you did before.
This lightness makes her walk all the faster towards Stitches, because even if she's not super the worse for wear, she definitely still wants to touch base.
Alright. Could you give me a roll real quick?
I don't like it when you ask me that. Especially when that's how I answer.
You continue onwards, and it's fortunate that you are pretty close by to where you need to be at this point. You pass by your apartment, but you do note at one point that you think that there is someone following you. You don't catch sight of them, but you realize at one point, there is a few moments where you hear just a commotion of somebody being bumped into or something behind you, and you just kind of glance over your shoulder and you never catch who it is, but there seems to be someone who is rather sloppily keeping a trail on you. You can just get to Stitch's place if you want to. This isn't, you did not roll low enough that I am going to spring anything on you here, but you have not rolled high enough to suss out this situation completely. You don't know whether it's anything of note, but go ahead.
I think this is certainly not the first time Vex has been in this situation, and that she's probably learned the hard way that if you just... The longer you ignore it, the more, information they're going to get on you. I think what she's going to try to do is head down a side alley not into like a completely deserted tiny little alley or anything, but like a side road that is a bit less populated, and, you know, make like she is just, you know, taking a quick detour, but actually she's gonna like hide behind either like, you know, a dumpster or like whatever, or just around the corner, whatever is available, and wait to see who comes around the corner.
Okay, can you make me a roll? And so I think that the hiding spot that you're picking is pretty good, so I am going to give you a +1 to that, because that is a sensible course of action that you're taking here.
Oh, 3.
I think you hide, but it's like, you get behind this thing, and you, unfortunately, you wait for a little bit, and no one, like, suspicious or, you know, whatever, kind of comes around the corner, like, where'd she go? Nothing like that. You just end up kind of sat there for a minute or two, and you kind of are just like, oh, fuck, well, I didn't give them the slip, obviously, and they are probably watching me at this point, so it's kind of up to you what you do now.
I think what she'll do is she will kind of sighing in defeat a bit at this simple plan not working. She is going to instead try to make her way up, like, probably like make her way up the fire escape of a nearby building, like just like quickly dashing up there, get up to like the roof of, like, you know, maybe not like a crazy skyscraper or anything, but like a sizable building, and just wait up there and see if they just like come out and like want to talk, and that's it, you know.
I'm gonna make a roll. All right. Okay. You start clambering up one of the fire escapes that leads to the, well, not a rooftop so much as what used to be a rooftop that has since been overshadowed by other buildings and stuff that have been put on top of, you know, all of that stuff, all the various structures around here. It's somewhere that you can at least get, you know, a idea of what's going on. But as you pull yourself up over the ledge of this building top, you are rather rudely greeted by somebody grabbing the scruff of your clothes and pulling you up. Like, it's not to help you. It's like it is a violent thing. And you feel once again the bladed fingers of a very familiar face, but not so familiar anymore. Elizabeth brings you up to meet her eyes, and you see that her jaw, which you had previously split, has been replaced with a metal one, kind of Raiden style. And she just goes, "Hey, been looking for ya," and just throws you onto the fucking building top. You go tumbling, and you see her. She's not immediately attacking you, but she is like got her hands. Her hand is out to her side, and she is like basically you could tell she is ready to pounce.
Vex rolls with the impact as she's thrown onto the roof, and comes up in a sort of half crouch with her sides now extended as well, similarly in a pouncing stance.
Oh, sorry. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, not at all. Perfectly willing to do whatever the fuck this is.
Can you make me a roll, please, with a +1, because you have encountered Elizabeth before?
Okay, fine. I'll take that one.
Yeah. You were immediately taken aback by the fact that she is not immediately setting upon you, even while you were injured and down one of your major weapons. It is not hard to understand why. She's not attacking you because she is not underestimating you anymore, and she has been taken down a peg, basically. The other thing that you intuit, Elizabeth was with a bunch of guys before. She's alone right now. You would think that she would still have people, and she probably does, and she's probably waiting for them. So she's got the drop on you, but she's definitely like... This is two mongoose, like, circling each other right now. And she's waiting for the right opportunity to get her revenge right now. That being said, you have the advantage right now, and you know it.
After a moment of us, the two of them just being stanced up, Vex slowly rises to her feet. Blade's still extended, but not quite in as much of, at least seemingly, a combat-ready stance anymore. Well, I take by the fact that you're not, immediately going for my, throat, or that you, didn't kill me once you had the drop on me, that, you're more looking for something else rather than just killing me outright. So what is it? You want some money? You want to humiliate me? Go on. Spill the beans.
Well, I do like the sound of that last one, but, nah, you got the read on me all wrong. I'm here to fucking gut you. You have any idea what you fucking did to my reputation before? I had to fucking spend an arm and a leg to get this, and she taps against her jaw with a scrape, almost like nails on chalkboard, as she carves into it slightly, seemingly having a horrible disdain for this new modification. And she goes, I just thought it might be nice to have a little bit of a chat before we, I don't know, scatter your viscera over this rooftop? After all, I'm not a monster.
Got it.
She's stalling for time. You need to make a decision of either leave or get her. One or the other. Well, or something else. I'll leave it to you.
Vex has an idea. She, kind of holds up her hands a bit, like, in a gesture of, like, seeming like slight surprise. Well, obviously I totally get it, Things went completely fucking ass over tea kettle for you in that situation. And, I know it doesn't mean anything, but I am sorry about that. The thing is, though, like, listen, I would get wanting to, like, fucking get back at me, humiliate me and stuff, but gut me for that? I mean, the thing is, right, I don't know if you know this, you kind of seriously fucked me up back there, too. I mean, I had to crawl halfway across the fucking city. I mean, you're no slouch with those scissors, lady. I mean, like, for real. I don't know, I mean, I kind of thought we got our licks in on each other.
Oh, normally I'm a big fan of flattery, but this isn't just about, I don't know, kicking the shit out of each other like some Creed idiots. She points one of her bladed fingers at you, and kind of takes a few steps forward, and goes, what you had, what you were delivering, I wanted it. And you took it away from me. So it's not just about getting our licks in. You've got a debt to repay. And she kind of splays her hands out in a very, like, jovial manner and goes, I'm sorry you have to suffer for this, but it's just a matter of principle. I'm all about my collections, and I'm not above getting kicked out of places in order to get hold of them again. You are running out of time. You can feel it. You can hear footsteps in the distance, which seem to be, it's not like a lot of people. You think it might only be a handful. You think her reputation has probably tanked enough that she probably doesn't have, like, the sway that she used to. But you do hear, like, the footsteps of a handful of people and some yells, which are very clearly them trying to, like, figure out what's happening and where you're at.
Man, I won't lie, you'd have caught me at a pretty bad time. At least for you, because, I was gonna try to do, like, some song and dance for a little bit. See if I could trick you again, but you know what? You're such a fucking idiot who doesn't know fucking anything about this city that you live in that, you know what? Fuck it. And she instantly just fucking leaps towards her. Like, all of a sudden, she just falls to the ready stance again and pounces in the space of just a millisecond.
Okay, could you make me an attack, please? Alright, yeah, that is her, that's her legs!
Of course that's what she aims for.
Yeah, you don't cut them off by any means, but you land a fucking blow. You land a good blow. It's like against one of her knees as she buckles and like yells out in pain. Are you intending to like engage her, or is this like a feint to get past her and fuck off?
My intention is go in, get the first hit, but then start running was kind of my goal here.
Okay, excellent. That is fine. We'll do like an action style scene thing here. Yeah, you do that. You get the drop on her, and your action point. You've got a few things damaged right now, but with your basic parts regenerated, what is your? Are you back up to your full action?
Yep,
points?
I'm at my full. Yep.
Okay. In which case, that is absolutely higher than her. She only has barely above the average. You can get another hit in. Oh, but you have chain attack, so do that one first.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to get in another? So you do. You get her legs again, I assume? Are you going for her legs with this?
Yeah, I think so. That makes 100% the most sense here.
Alright, yeah, you fucking do, the crit, that's crit damage as well, that's, 2 extra damage. So, I'll tell you this. She does not currently have any extra leg parts, so you have destroyed all of the parts on her legs.
Vex literally just, again, even in the process of telling her, like, I'm not gonna try to trick her, she was very subtly, like, closing the distance to the perfect point where she could, like, land this fucking, flurry of blows against her, and she's specifically aiming for her legs, not only, of course, for the sick irony, but because, she wants to specifically, she's not even necessarily gonna try to just fully kill Elizabeth here. She is specifically going to disable her as much as possible so that she cannot chase as effectively, and then she's going to turn and deal with whoever else is showing up. Whether by running to get to a better position, or if they're already on her, then she'll attack them next.
Yeah, you sail past her. The blades cut clean through both of her legs as one of them falls onto the rooftop, but the other one, carried with so much momentum from your dash, sails over the edge of the rooftop and down into the alley, and hits the ground with a wet and meaty thud. I will happily resolve this here. I don't want this to be like a proper encounter from here, and you've rolled very well for resolving this. You do that, you keep going. I think you do like a little triangle jump back and forth against the walls of the alley with the, and then like at one point you grab onto the ladder of one of the fire escapes and like it slides down to give you a soft landing. You hear Elizabeth cursing, and like, just like, fuck, god fucking damn it, and is just like absolutely fucking livid as you hear the footsteps only now coming around the corner of the alleyway as you are exiting it from the other direction. You take a second to glance behind you and you spot another woman. She has a massive jaw modification halfway between a bear trap and like some weird fucked up armor, which is like taking up the entire lower half of her head as opposed to just her jaw. And she kind of like stops, like sees you, is kind of like a deer in headlights for a second, like looks up at the screaming as Elizabeth like barely cranes her head over and is like, god fucking damn it, fucking get her! But by the time she says that, you are well on your way, and it is no problem to give them the slip with your action point total. They are the rest of them, which is only that girl I mentioned and 2 others who look like mooks. They can't keep up with the modifications that they have, which is none. And yeah, you are out of there. Where do you head to? And tell me what's going on.
Once she's pretty effectively given them the slip and given like an extra minute or 2 to make sure that, like, you know, they're definitely not bearing down on her, she is going to essentially pivot around, make her way down a couple more side streets, and literally make her way back around to the roof where Elizabeth is at.
Yeah?
Yep.
Right. So I... Let me think.
I mean, out of character savvy, like, why wait for her to fucking sneak up on her like this again? Like, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna make a GM roll here. So I think purely because this is a pretty circuitous route, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have any speed upgrades, right? You don't have a reinforcement part, which is like a cheaper movement or anything like that.
No, nothing directly like that. No.
Okay, so for that so if you had like literally like anything, if you had a part which was just like, oh, you get to like use a free movement once, or you know, hides legs or something similar like that, I would let you outpace them to a point where you catch up with Elizabeth on a circle round. But I think by virtue of the fact that your pace is you're well ahead of them, and you're a lot like you're a lot better in terms of reaction time and everything, and your heart is like pumping the blood through you and giving you essentially like blood doping. I think you just aren't fast enough to circle around to her by the time they give up. So
they go back and they grab her, I assume.
Yeah, they basically peter off at one point. I think the last one who is still chasing you is this woman with the bear trap like mouth, basically, and even she eventually gives up. But the fact that the other 2 had already started making their way back, you circle around to the rooftop, there's blood from where the legs were and drag marks from where she's been pulled off the roof. She's not there anymore, but you can't help but feel that may have hurt her ego tenfold in comparison to before.
Part of Vex is tempted to follow the blood trail and see if she can get the drop on them, but at the same time, she just can't really be bothered. I mean, she was expecting maybe more of an entourage than that as well, and at this point, she just kind of wants the day to be over. So, if she will now make her way to Stitch's place while making absolutely sure there's no sign of some second attempt or anything on the way.
Absolutely. You do so. You're pretty damn nearby Stitch's place at this point, so it's no trouble. And you drag yourself to Stitch's, and go in through the back door like you always do, and kind of just sling yourself on one of the chairs, exhausted from one of the most involved days you've had in a long fucking time.
What's the little fucking isopod's name?
I believe his name's Scuttle.
Scuttle. She'll give him a pet if she sees him.
Oh, you absolutely do. I think he scuttles in, quite happily, having heard a commotion here, hoping for a fresh corpse to get some nibbles in on and everything. But you give him a scratch behind the carapace as he chirps and starts to kind of, you know, lick up some old blood and scabs that have been left on the floor with Stitch's somewhat sloppy cleanup job here. Seemingly he, as much as Stitch kind of, you know, kicks this thing around every now and then and pretends it's a bit of a nuisance. He does acknowledge that it is pretty damn good at being a little, like, biological Roomba. So you hear that Stitch is in the middle of, like, you know, talking to a guy up front. It's a masculine voice, and it doesn't seem like it's any of the fucking guys that were after you or anything. It seems that he's been dealing with this guy for a bit now. And after a bit, you hear him wrap up his business and stroll into the back room with all the gurneys where you're sat, having heard you come in. And he goes, Vex. He kind of looks you over. You don't look all that bad. Get into a little scrap?
You could say that. I was significantly more fucked like a couple hours ago.
He cocks an eyebrow. How much more fucked up?
Probably top 5.
He furrows his brow, and you know him. You know Stitch. You know this guy, and you joke around a lot. I think you think on any other day he would have been like, yeah, sure, and, you know, would have, like, laughed along and called bullshit, and, you know.
I mean, after the shit he witnessed, I think.
Yeah,
he's
no,
probably
exactly.
Not, yeah.
Instead, he senses, like, you know, like, shit's changed at this point, and he goes, shit, for real? Like, he kind of, like, walks in proper at this point. Like, grabs his bag that he has with him, and, you know, sets to work again to fix up the stuff that he can. So, if you give over, do you want this to be a quick job? No, you have to. Sorry, rescind that. You have to pay for a fix up anyway. So that's going to be one. That is going to be one favor to get your reinforcement parts that he can fix sorted. So,
well, I assume that's just reflexes.
That will be reflexes, and he can do your femurs, because he has done them before. He does understand those, because he did that in the first.
Those weren't broken.
Oh, those weren't broken? Fair enough.
It's just that and the gun, so.
Right, yeah, in which case he fixes up your reflexes. He kind of,
which is like it's some enhancement inside of her that, you know, increases her fucking battle adrenaline or something, but yeah.
I think, straight up what he does is, where is the reflexes located for you? Is it head?
It is, the body, torso.
Right, so so he kind of looks you over. He knows about the various enhancements that you have and everything, and you're used to this. You like take off your cloak so that he can get a proper look, before he kind of taps on your back where you know that your wired reflexes are, and he goes like, yeah, that's all been busted up. One sec. And you know the drill. You feel the pinprick of the painkillers in your back as he does local anesthetic, slices it open, and starts to tinker and essentially wire your nerves back into this like cybernetic system that's wired into your spine. And while he's doing that, you get to talking. And he goes, top 5.
Yeah, I only had like one leg, part of one arm, skeleton. She shrugs.
he kind of coughs and goes, skeleton? Like you lost flesh down to the bone?
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
You feel the twitch as he hooks up another nerve. And he goes, I
don't like this either, for the record.
Yeah, no, this is fucked. Listen, I'm not gonna pretend that I haven't been thinking a lot about what the fuck happened last time that you were here. Look, just give me a sec.
I'm still sorry about that.
No, don't fucking apologize. It's nothing. You hear him kind of breathe out a little bit as, a few minutes later, he finishes wiring everything up. You feel him slather the, pluripotent gel mixture onto your spine once again, and you feel, although by the time he does, the wound has already healed, and you feel it, the cold sensation as it hits your back, and then he doesn't continue to spread it as he just goes, right, yeah, no, don't need to do that anymore, do I? Wipes off the stuff and kind of indicates that you can put your cloak and everything back on as he circles around on his little wheelie stool, and he goes, I'm not a scientist, but I know medicine, and I have some equipment. He kind of gestures to another part of the clinic, and he goes, Vex, I make my living in the neutral zone by not making anything my business. I sew people up, that's it. But this is different. What the fuck, do you know what's fucking going on, or? Because
Listen, I don't want you to make this your business either. I don't. It's probably really dangerous. But I do have a couple of leads that I found that I'm gonna try looking into, one of which I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, anything. What's up?
One of the dredge I was with on this job, Hyde, don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know the guy. He's it's hard not to know him.
He mentioned, because I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's this place called Atrium. He said that it sounded like a Section C name. I don't know if you know any more than that, but I think whatever that facility is has something to do with this.
I mean, he's on the money. That sounds a hell of a lot like a Section C thing, or at least something that you'd see on the outside world, but one and the same. They try to... Point is, yeah, so a lot of Section C stuff is named after various body parts or something like that, or given some bougie name, all that kind of jazz. Atrium is a chamber of the heart. He kind of points at your chest when he does that. And he goes,
which is also something, but yeah.
He, still pointing at your heart, kind of lowers his gaze to your chest at this point, as if trying to x-ray your chest. And he goes, yeah, I took a look at the shit you sent me. He is stammering, he can't seem to put a word together before he kind of composes himself, and he goes, that was some serious shit you sent. Where did you get that? I have some theories, I have some stuff that I think I might know, but that's all of it. That's something to do with this, isn't it?
It was all on the fucking shit we found on that guy that we brought back with us.
What, Carpenter?
Yeah. He had a disc and then this weird thing, this little gizmo. I don't really know too much about that, but on the disc it had a bunch of shit about she hesitates, but I don't want to get you dragged into whatever this is, but essentially it had a lot of crazy fucked up shit on it, and I was already kind of thinking oh, this looks like the kind of, cutting people up shit that Section C loves so much. But I mean, I mean, to this extent, I mean, I just wanted to know if you'd ever seen anything like it or knew what to make of it.
Look, I said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm here to help you out. And look, for better or for worse, and whether you like it or not, that whole fiasco last time, the shit I saw, if these people are at all concerned about keeping the secret, which it does seem they are, I think I'm in it. I think I don't think I can back out at this point. So I'm gonna fucking help.
Stitch,
Look, no. He kind of puts his finger almost to shush you before he goes like, I've made my choice. I've sewn you up enough times and
I know. I was gonna say, this is freaking me out. Not just... She taps her foot a few times, looking uncomfortable to say what she's about to say, but just comes out with it. The pictures and this laboratory shit and whoever the fucking white-haired woman they're talking about is all one thing, but like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with my body. I mean, when all that shit was going on, I could swear that there was something. She looks at him and just very weakly says, It's like there's something else inside me, Stitch.
He kind of feels the weight of that, takes a second, and goes, I've looked over everything. If you were subjected to this procedure that they did, then there's a lot to deconstruct, but there's something I want to do, but I can't do it if you aren't okay with it, and if you don't give the go-ahead.
What is it?
I want to cut you open. I want to see that heart. We gotta see if that's the case. If it is what we think it is. If those images are anything to go by, I've never had to replace your heart. I've never had to replace anything in that region. All I've ever done is guts, liver, kidney, all that kind of thing. Muscles, everything else. I've never taken a look in your ribcage. If it's anything like those pictures, then it's gonna be obvious.
Then let's do it. Let's take a look. Fuck. She hides her face in her hands.
He puts his hands on your shoulders at this point. And he goes, we'll do it when you're ready. We don't have to fucking saw open your sternum right now or anything, but there is something else that we can do in the meantime until you are mentally prepared. Let me take some tissue samples. We can take a look under the microscope right now. It doesn't take too long to prep slides to take a look at cellular structure.
Yeah, fine.
He makes quick work of it. You've never seen him be this, like, he's normally so very like laissez-faire, and there's a lot of like muscle memory involved in what he does with his work, and this is like, there's that kind of, I don't know if you know it, that like how first responders kind of get that degree of separation from what they're doing with medical care, where they kind of distance and disconnect themselves, where it just becomes like, okay, we're just doing this, right? Like, there's always been that sense of like, he's just joking, having jovial conversations as he's sewing people up, right? But the way he's moving, the way that he's doing everything, there's this attentiveness in him, and he's concerned. He takes a couple things from you. He takes a blood sample, and he takes basically like a skin sample from you as well. And and of course it heals over almost instantaneously. There's another one I want to do, but this one's more invasive.
She just gives him a look like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, you just give him the look, and he just goes, all right, give me your arm. And you kind of set it out. He puts anesthetic on the arm and cuts it open, and he takes some stuff from deep inside of your forearm tissue. You notice as it is like you've got the skin folded open and everything is like exposed on your arm, you notice that like there are these like strands of tissue that are slowly bridging the gap between the open muscle and the where the skin connects to your arm again, as if they're slowly trying to claw it back onto your arm and heal it over. And he kind of like notices this and goes like, oh, and starts working a little quicker as he pulls off a sample of your of one of your like smaller veins slash not an artery, but like, just a blood vessel, as well as he kind of looks to you and he goes, all right, this one's gonna suck. Do you want the help with it, or should I just go for it? I'm taking a nerve.
Just go for it. It's fine.
There is this little, slightly yellow, almost fatty-looking strand. It's very thin and slender that he identifies, and he just goes, "Buckle up," and he nicks it. And there is this, like, massive, like, jolt up your arm of pain as he does that, he literally just directly takes one of your nerves.
She yells and grabs onto whatever she's sitting on with her other arm, but she's done this a lot.
Yeah. I've got a question to ask you. How many of your fetters are filled up? Are there any that are filled up completely?
None of them are filled.
Okay. Could you make a roll with a +2, please? Okay. You feel distinctly, that feeling that you get when you're kind of like, when your body kind of like lights up with electricity and feels almost like jittering, like it has in the past. That suddenly, like, there's a pulse of that goes, like, just like goes as a wave through your body, as if there is like a much more powerful reaction than just pain. It's almost like this instinct of like a cat on its haunches about to, like, just telling, like, something to fuck off, basically. And it feels separate from you in a weird way.
After she fucking grits her teeth and pants for a few moments, just getting over this feeling, assuming she manages to restrain it and everything's fine.
You do, yeah.
She just kind of mutters to herself loud enough to hear, just, that was it.
What'd you feel?
That feeling, when you did that, it's like, yeah, it fucking hurt, but it more than just hurt. It was like, there was, how do I even explain it? There was this reaction of, like, defense, of, like, something didn't like that you did that. I know that sounds fucking insane, but it's the same thing. It's the same feeling I had before.
I am willing to... I'll take anything you say at face value at this point. I'm not writing anything off the table.
You said that was a nerve. I mean, I know less about this shit than you do. Is there a way to, like, just replace someone's nerves with something else?
I don't know. I mean, you can do wires, obviously, with cybernetics, but he kind of, like, gestures to stuff. There's all sorts of weird fucked up ways that you can enhance nerves. You don't have any of them. Not that I can tell, at least, from what I've seen. Generally, you end up with discoloration or higher density of them throughout the muscles or something, or... He kind of points to, almost over your shoulder, or he goes, or it's something obvious, like a reflex enhancer. But, well, we'll see, right?
Yeah, I mean, take a look, I guess.
You fold the skin over your arm, and it heals again, but you do notice that it almost, rather than the edges of it all healing up at once, it's almost like somebody takes, like, a zipper and heals it in, like, a line, which is slightly slower than what happens usually, and you do note that. Hey gang, welcome to the break. I hope you've been enjoying yourself so far. If you are listening to this on YouTube, then please direct your attention to the screen where we will have our fan art carousel as per the usual. But why don't we get into the shilling as per the usual as well? If you've been enjoying the show and you want to get more right now, then you can listen to episode 22, which is an episode ahead of time, over on my Patreon. That is patreon.com/eternal_savvy. Again, that is eternal_savvy. For as little as $1 a month, you will get hold of that extra episode, and if you want to support me for more, you absolutely can if you just want to be extra helpful and extra cool, but even that $1 is going to get you access to that episode. And if you want a more direct reason to be supporting me on Patreon, the money that I get over there is going towards me commissioning human composers and artists in order to make unique music for the game, stuff that is specifically for Heart of Hope. You will have already been hearing some of them, whether that's in the intro or in some of the just background music. It is something that I'm absolutely glad to be doing, just for the sake of improving the show and also for supporting real human artists these days. So you will not only be benefiting me by supporting, but also the show and other artists. Even the logo for Heart of Hope was paid for with Patreon money, so it goes a long way to improve the content that I'm making. And if you would prefer to send a one-time donation as opposed to supporting monthly, whether that's just because you can only do it once or for whatever other reason, then you can go over to my Ko-Fi, which is at the same username of eternal_savvy. In fact, I am eternal_savvy pretty much anywhere that you could find me, which would be, on this occasion, Blue Sky and Twitch would be the main ones. I do video game streams and art streams primarily over there. And if you want to see the VOD channel where we upload the VODs for said streams, then that is the only place where it's different, over at staying_savvy. And, of course, if you're one of the wonderful people who has been providing fan art for the game, which is currently on screen on the YouTube version, then you can, if you have some that you want to send my way, then you can either do that on Blue Sky, where you can tag me, again, eternal_savvy, and use the hashtag Heart of Hope, or you can do it over on my Discord server, where we have a fan art channel. Other than that, I just want to quickly thank everybody who's already provided fan art and, you know, the prompts for the characters that have been showing up in previous episodes and in future episodes. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show. If you want to help out in a way that is not monetary, then leaving a comment on the YouTube video is a massive, massive help for telling the algorithm that this is worthwhile, giving it a like, subscribing, all of that jazz. If you're using the RSS feed, so whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, any of those, then if they have a way for you to rate the podcast, which is normally on a star system, then please go ahead and do that as well. It similarly really, really helps out. With that, I think that's everything, so why don't we get back to the episode. Bye-bye. The moment passes and, he kind of beckons you into his lab, basically, where he's got various, like, centrifuges and everything to test and all that jazz. And there is a tense period of time that happens as he just, like, sits you down in the corner as he slowly and methodically, basically, like, starts putting blood into vials and setting them into centrifuges, putting them on slides, getting you know, the nerves and the veins and everything in proper configurations and on their own slides with dye and all of this various stuff to just prepare like a bunch of samples. And he also pulls out of his fridge a number of test tubes and everything, and a box of slides which seem to be so. If you've ever done, like, a biology course of any kind or studied biology, there is these kind of, like, preserved slides which can be made, which are essentially for, like, teaching purposes, so that, like, you go, oh, so, like, you know, here's a preserved this type of cell, let's take a look at it in the microscope, right? And they can be kept for a very, very long time. He takes a bunch of those out as well, and he goes, this is, bunch of stuff that I managed to find at one point. It was tossed out in some Section C study place or whatever. They're, just normal cell tissue, that kind of thing. Various stuff, blood, veins, nerves, muscle, kind of shit that you'd find in college and university for the sake of teaching the youths or whatever. But they will serve just fine as controls. And he kicks off from one of the cabinets and scoots himself all the way over to his microscope and beckons you over. It's that you can see that this is seemingly a pretty nice piece of equipment. It's actually got some AV cables leading out of it, as well as some other, like, it looks like it has some camera equipment that you can slot into place over the lens in order to put it onto a small CRT television that he has on his lab desk. And he can't do both at once, so he has to, like, look in and then, like, switch it out. But he starts to methodically, silently, just switch slides in and out, and to compare them and at various different magnifications and everything. And after some time, you hear him kind of like, you feel him kind of develop this fascination, and you can see that he's swapping them out at with this, like, nervous energy that is like, there is clearly something that he is spotting here, which is just, like, fucked up, basically. And you can see that he is just completely enraptured by whatever the fuck is going on. After all of this switching out, and you're like on fucking edge this whole time, he kind of pulls back and he just goes, what the fuck did they do? And he just kind of switches the little, like, device onto the lens and turns on the TV with a crackle. And you see on the screen, in this strange, like, fisheye circular, like, frame, cells on screen. And he goes, right, so what you're looking at here right now is the control, basically. Regular human cells. This one's nerves. You see, he switches it in, and there's these, you know, long, sprawling structures. And he goes, there's a mix of all sorts there. I won't bore you with the details, but you can see the general idea of them. He takes it out, switches another one in. This is regular human blood. And you see the classic look of them. The lack of the nucleus in the center, there's that distinct dipped look in the center of them. Pulls that one out, puts another one in, and he goes, and these are cells that you'd expect to see inside of an artery or vein, like I took earlier. Pulls it out, and he goes, well, let's start with the blood. He brings one in, and it is distinctly more fresh, you can tell. They are, the cells, having been freshly dyed, they are vibrant in color. And you, even as an untrained eye, you immediately see that the blood cells that have been taken from you are notably different. They have this, like, bulkier look to them, and there's this, these strange, like, structures inside of them which almost give it this pockmarked look. And he goes, what you're seeing inside of your blood cells right now, it's thickened walls and structures that are commonly associated with storage, basically, and extra energy production, that kind of thing. You're not normally meant to have them in this frequency inside of a blood cell, but they're there. That might be something that's providing all of this energy for you to be healing from inexplicably, without any kind of input, without any kind of something. I think maybe to some degree this is exhaustible. I think anything is, but you just have all of this extra storage. I I guess that makes sense considering that you drained. He kind of takes a second and thinks and looks to the opposing, looks to the door, this is opposing the morgue which you woke up in. And he goes, you drained something like 4 bodies of various parts. Not completely, you didn't like completely devour them, but they were missing parts. Mainly neurons, mainly glucose and protein storage, that kind of thing, fats, all of that. Looks like we know where it's gone. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it's in your muscles as well. And he kind of pulls that out, switches in the neuron one. And you see yours, it's got the fresh dye on it, and they don't look all that different. And that's odd, right? And he goes, the thing that's fucking me up is that your neurons don't look weird. I mean, they're healthy. They're numerous. There's a lot of them. They're in perfect shape. More perfect shape than I would expect. And he takes a second. He takes out the nerve slide. And before putting it in, he goes, you remember the cells in the veins and the arteries? Just looked like normal blob structures, right?
Yeah.
Slides it in. And immediately you see that there is, instead of all of these like little interconnecting circles and blobs and everything, they are elongated and stretched and interconnected, and they look like a blend of regular cells and neurons. And he goes, your veins, your arteries, they're like a second nervous system. You've got a second central nervous system in you.
Okay, what does that mean?
I don't fully know yet, but you said that you feel like there's some kind of thing in you, right? Well, I'm not surprised it feels like that. You've got another body's worth of nerves and connections inside of you. You probably feel that way because you're basically running 2 people's hardware in one body.
She fucking, like, struggles for words for a moment. Like, where? Like, what do you mean? Like, just in all my, like, in my blood? My cells?
It must be interconnected. The blood, I can only imagine it's able to deposit all of that because you've got all of this. He points to the screen. Because your veins are acting like nerves and... Look, I don't have the whole picture yet, but it explains why you're able to come in here headless, without a brain. He kind of like pointedly, once again, points at your chest, and he goes, if your circulatory system, if your veins are acting like nerves, then your heart, that might be a second brain.
And you need to cut me open to see, to make sure?
I guess, yeah.
Then just do it. Fuck it. Why wait? Why stay in suspense? Let's just fucking... If I don't figure this out, then how do I know I'm even safe to be around? Look at my heart.
You sure?
Yeah.
He looks at you resolute and stands up, and he goes, all right, let's do it. And he walks through the door. Stitch leads you into his surgery proper, the one that you were in when everything kicked off with you going berserk and crawling into the morgue. He gets you onto the gurney and onto the table in the center, and he starts scrubbing up, and he basically, he like indicates to you to get your clothes off and everything.
Stitch.
Yeah.
If it reacts, or if it does something, just get the fuck out. I'll be fine, right? Save yourself.
He doesn't say anything, he just looks you in the eye and he just kind of starts to nod slightly in acknowledgement. And he goes, yeah, no, yeah. And, he finishes scrubbing up, he gets these big gloves on and everything, and a different mask, and starts disinfecting everything. And, he looks to you, and he goes, I wouldn't normally ask this, but do you want to be awake or not? I get the feeling we might be doing brain surgery.
She genuinely has to think about that for a minute. I mean, on one hand, you'd think me being asleep would help, but if I'm awake, that might mean I can try to stop it if it reacts badly, but also maybe that'll make it react badly in the first place. Fuck, whatever you think is safest for you.
If it's not too much, if it's not too fucked up of an idea for you, I'm tempted to go with brain surgery protocol, which is keeping you awake. It seems only right considering what we just looked at.
If that's what normally happens, then she shrugs.
He nods. He goes out front to do all of his normal... Well, I think he would have done this before. He has done all his protocol to make sure the place is locked up for a serious surgery like you would expect, and gets the light on of, like, the big warning light saying, do not enter, all that kind of thing. Gets the doors locked, and you hear Scuttle, like, clawing at the door as this happens, as he always does. And, he lies you back on the table. Alright, let's do this. And yeah, he does have the he does at least give general, like, local anesthetic to where he's cutting into in order to not make it horribly painful, but you're about to go through a really fucked up thing here, which is a live fucking vivisection, or live open heart surgery. It is grueling, to say the least. This is something that you don't normally see, for good reason. He slices in, and there is this... I won't go into too much detail, but he is doing the whole process of opening up your skin and into your ribs in order to get a clear view of what the fuck is going on inside of you. Are you looking away or making, or like, what's going through your head as this is all happening?
It's strange because Vex, in a weird way, Vex gets cut open all the time, and when she's fighting, she gets injured. She gets blown to pieces sometimes. And everything, you name it, it's probably happened to her in a fight. But something about the neatness. It's almost a strange situation where the consensuality of it makes it a bit weirder and more uncomfortable. And I think that she occasionally will open one eye just to catch a glimpse of what's happening, but mostly I think she's just keeping her eyes closed and trying to grit her teeth as best she can through it, because I think in a weird way, like, if she didn't trust Stitch and this wasn't the exact situation, this would probably be one of her worst fears, or like worst, if not active fear, at least one of the, like, more just viscerally uncomfortable experiences she's been through, weirdly enough. But it's only because of how much she trusts Stitch, and the fact that it does kind of feel like they're in this together, that she's able to sweat through this, because it's not great.
I have a question to ask you, Vex. How many points of bloodthirst out of your... What is your bloodthirst status right now?
Oh, fuck. Let me...
Because you've had a couple of conversations.
Yep, I'm currently at 14 out of 26.
Okay, so in that case, could you make me a roll with a negative 1, please?
Oh. Oh, fuck, that's really bad.
Okay, you are, even without, like, all of the sensation, there is a point where he gets into deep enough tissue where the sensation is coming back, and it hasn't, like, penetrated far enough yet, and there is this mixture of pain, but it's not, like, as bad as you would have thought because of the anesthetic. It seems that he is applying it where he can to spare you of too much of it, but it is still, like, there's moments where it's blinding, where you are gripping the furniture with, like, white knuckle levels of it. You've been through bad shit when it comes to pain before. You've felt some really gnarly shit. Like, you've had fucking, bullet holes through fucking kidneys and spines and stuff like that, and you've put up with it, but this is different. But you're not, like, screaming or anything. The weirdest part of it is the sensation of, like, pulling and tugging as things are just, like, as ribs are cut through and then pulled away, and you feel, the container of your most vital organs being, like, pulled around against your, well, not against your will, but, like, without you wanting it to, without you willing it to. And you are overcome with this familiarity all of a sudden. And you open your eyes, like, it's hard to keep them closed at times. You just have your head back, and there is a moment where the lights that are above you, the surgery lights, you look directly into them, and there's a flash, and you feel this wave of memory, literally like a PTSD flashback, and you shake your head, you try your best to fend it off, but it happens again. You look around at your surroundings, and at every turn, there's nothing which doesn't remind you. There's nothing that doesn't feel like it did back then. There's nothing that is different aside from Stitch, but you can't see his face right now. It's covered up. And as you look down and you see yourself open, you realize that you are no longer seeing Stitch alone in this room. You are surrounded again by all of these doctors in white scrubs. There's blood, there's parts of you pulled out everywhere. What you saw on that disc, you're back there. You're experiencing it. You're in that surgery room again. And it's too much. There is these flashing and blinding pangs of pain and fear and confusion, and you realize you can't see what's going on anymore. You don't know what's happening. You are fully lost in all of this. But for one gruesome and crystal clear, crisp moment, you watch as almost like two pieces of negative film laid on top of each other. You see, in such a similar position to what you think you experienced back then, you see a mirror on an arm get brought over, adjusted casually in the past as if to get a better view, but turned in such a way that you can see exactly what's going on inside of you. And your heart is pure white. And there's something in you in that moment which is just gone. Not because of what's happening right now, but because you just realize everything that happened to you, and you black out. That damn fucking phone. You are in that corridor again. You're looking at it. You remember talking with Carpenter. You think you had a plan at one point. There was something that you were doing, both of you, together. You think you maybe had a conversation on this phone at one point, although you're not sure. No, you are sure. It's why you were so nervous about that phone call. You'd been pacing for days, waiting for it. This part of the plan, it was up to him. You couldn't get the clearance for some of the stuff that needed to be done. There was a nervous fear, excitement that ran through you that whole time, that for every hour that it went by, you know it could come at any moment, that phone call. And it came through. And you almost ran to the phone. And you remember hearing on the other line, you'd so fucking hoped that it wouldn't go wrong. You'd hoped that you'd pick up that fucking phone and he'd be calm, collected, and everything went fine. But the moment you put it to your ear, there was the ragged breathing of him being out of breath, of him being stressed, nervous. I think some of them are onto me. Listen, we don't have much time. We have to get to the meeting point and we have to get out of here as fast as we fucking can. I can't even be on the phone for too long. Just meet me where we agreed to, okay? Talk later. And he just puts the phone down. You didn't even have time to respond. But you knew. You lit up with adrenaline. Cortisol, all at the same time. Every muscle in your body had you moving as fast as you could. You bashed down your door, you grabbed your supplies, and you fucking moved. You didn't care who saw you, you didn't care if people were onto you because you knew that they were onto him already, and you fucking had to get out of there. You had people in tow. And they were scared too. All of you were scared. You remember the sensation of your boots hitting the concrete, the asphalt, the stairs. You remember the sun overhead. You remember nervously pacing around that hut with the tree, while that girl, Hope, as you now know her, was sat looking out the window dispassionately. You remember Garrett on the phone, just like you did before, on the phone, panickedly writing something, saying something. And you remember it all went to hell after that. You feel a presence around you again. You almost feel like you're being held. There's this nervous fear, that kind of jitter that involuntarily happens in muscles when somebody is just so shot with stress throughout their body that there's no way they can hold it back. And you slowly come to. You slowly feel that presence fade. You slowly feel the arms kind of release you as your second nervous system, as you know it now, almost takes a deep breath in and out alongside yours. You're huddled in the fetal position in the corner of the surgery room. And it's a fucking mess in here. Shit's knocked over. There's various tools and surgery stuff just knocked around and thrown to the ground. There's blood. You think it's yours, you're not sure. You hope so at this point. The door's locked. What goes through your head first thing?
Garrett! She gasps as her eyes flick open. And then, a moment later, Stitch! Stitch! She looks around the room.
You feverishly look around the room, and you're hoping that you just don't see him. You just don't want to see him on the floor. You don't want to see him dead or injured or anything. You are hoping and he's not there. You call out his name, and almost startling you, you hear a knock, you hear a thud against the door as his hand goes into it, and you see his face peer up through the like little window at the top for observation. He makes eye contact with you. You see there's blood spattered on him, and he, without even hesitation, with no level of fear behind him at all, he just unlocks the door and he runs in and almost like slides across the floor as he goes to you and like wraps his arms around you, and he just goes, "Vex, are you okay?"
I don't. Are you okay?
I'm okay. You didn't hurt me. The moment, I'm okay. I got out of there, like you said.
Christ. She just sobs into his chest for a second.
It's a little while before the tears subside and you feel yourself again. You can't help but feel the contrast between your normal persona, your confidence, and how helpless this all makes you feel. You eventually manage to get yourself together and composed, but it's a messy 30 minutes before you kind of sit up. He gets you on a seat this time. He leads you out of there, clearly understanding straight away that this is some kind of trauma trigger being in this surgery room, and pulls you out into his office, basically, which is actually somewhat comfortable, like before. And he goes, "You didn't hurt me, Vex. When you saw the heart, when you saw your heart, I saw your eyes roll back in your head, and those veins, they shot out and they tried to grab at me like before. They almost got me." He's taken off his mask at this point, and you can see that he's got this nasty red mark on his cheekbone, very clearly taking a nasty hit there. You won't be surprised if that develops into a bad bruise. "I watched for the last few hours. You weren't you. It was like you were just completely on survival mode."
I won't say I'm sorry, but thanks.
He gives you this soft look. "It's never a problem. But look, we got something out of this. We know that whatever they did to these people, they did to you. Your heart's exactly like what I saw there. It's stark white."
Yeah. I think I escaped from there. I think there were other people I was helping, leading, and I think it didn't go well.
"You got shot down. That's how I found you, remember?"
Remind me exactly how he found her again?
You were basically lying in the street, and he thought that you were dead initially because you had a giant fucking grapefruit-sized hole taken out of your head, like from an exit wound, basically. And the rest of your body was riddled with equally devastating exit wounds and shots. But when he realized you were alive, he took you in and he healed you up.
Where in the city was that again?
It was a contested zone. Closer to the collector's side, I suppose. I think back then, if I'm not mistaken, a couple more blocks to the west were contested. The collectors hadn't pushed in as far as they had. You were a little further west than what's there now.
Why the hell were you in the contested zone?
Well, you'll find this hard to believe, but occasionally some people pay good enough cash to get me on triage. There was some stupid plan that they had that they wanted to hit one of the outposts that the collectors had. So, paid me a bunch of money to, they didn't make me come along with them, but they just had me hang back in Creed territory. Apparently what they were doing was something that went against what some of their family. He does in quotation marks, knowing that that's the way they refer to their higher-ups. Whatever they were doing, their family didn't approve of it, which is why they got a neutral doctor with them. I heard a bunch of gunfire go down. I was very clearly a bunch of people went down as well. Helped him out. And, we concluded our business. I started heading back and found you. I thought you were just some poor soul that got caught up. Some dweller who got in too deep. I thought you were dead. Now we know why you weren't.
She slowly nods. I don't know what the missing pieces are, but I think I need to go to Section C. And I think I need to start knocking some heads together until I figure out what the fuck all of this is.
Yeah. I'd do the same. If I were nearly as good in a fight as you are.
You're good at so many other things. Why couldn't I have just taken up some apprenticeship with you and learned a useful skill instead of fucking ripping people apart every day? Well, I get ripped apart myself, but I don't have to. I get to still be here, do it all again every fucking day, and I don't even know why.
Well, because you get to do what you want. I might be neutral, but I fought tooth and nail for this. And I still got pulled out into fucking contested territory. I barely pay the protection rackets. I barely keep myself in profit. You ain't seen the shithole I live in. He jabs a thumb upstairs at the apartment, which clearly he lives above the clinic. You did what you had to survive. Like everyone else in this city, you just did it better. And besides, you ain't too shabby with tech either. Remember when you fixed up my PC?
That was no big deal.
Yeah, but I didn't know what to fucking do. I can fix cybernetics from 5 ways to Tuesday. The moment that they're wires connecting to other wires instead of nerves, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Vex. He stands up from behind the desk at this point. I think he goes over and he puts on some coffee from the shitty, filter. It's from some old office. It's bashed up. But it does the job well enough. It's always a little bitter because it's too hot. But he likes it that way. And he slides a cup over to you. I'll be here for you. Whatever you need.
She nods. Just keep your fucking head down, because if I'm right, and this is all some big Section C conspiracy, or even if it's not them, I don't want them to know that you know what you know about, Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I know. Listen, I've made my living off of keeping secrets. I'll be fine. Besides, they threatened to crack my skull open. I've kind of been there and done that already.
She gives him the usual half glare of, I don't appreciate the joke right now.
Yeah, he kind of does that thing where, the smile just slowly fades as he realizes, okay, we're not quite at levity yet. You said you have a few leads, right?
More like strings to grasp at.
Grab them. Pull on them until you unravel the whole damn jumper if you have to.
I hope I like whatever's underneath it.
Even if you don't, you'll know what to do with it. I'll start, I'll do one last look over of the stuff that you sent me, but I gather it's not all of it, right? You said there was a device and some other files that you couldn't access?
There's shit I can't access, and there's a bunch of, I sent you the images. I don't think I sent you all the, they kept all these examiners' notes, I guess, about implants, compounds, a compound H or something it was called. There was stuff about progress with this group. I'm sure it's probably not surprising to learn they had to fail a shitload of times and kill a bunch of people in order to get successes.
Yeah, sounds about right. But, hey, I'm a doctor, right? Give me that info at some point. Don't Don't fucking shoot it over wire this time, though. I'm gonna get those things on, like, a fucking hard drive or something, and I'm gonna keep that shit in a, I don't know, lead box or something, but we can't risk something getting intercepted. Just bring me the disc and... Yeah.
I can grab a portable drive when I go to the collector soon.
And that gadget, if you can... I mean, you're good with tech, right? Why not try finding a way to connect it?
I want to, I'm just worried about people recognizing it, I guess, and I sure as fuck don't trust the collectors right now. Long story, but...
No, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, and that's not very far considering they're loaded up with steel. Look, just... You put together a whole bunch of stuff in the past. I'm sure you can figure it out. Scrounge around in some scrap heaps like you normally do. And maybe that's something that can let you... I don't know, figure some more shit out. You know, he kind of starts to run through some ideas with you, and you think about your other leads as well. You've got the brass numbers on the doors from those memories of the phone in the hallway. You know the FRI is on top of that. You didn't explain the specifics of the events that you remember that may have happened in the past, the fires and such, which might have set him onto a more certain path, but FRI's good at what he does, and he has a couple locations he's been looking into. It's going to be worthwhile to check in with him. And there's that albino that might be lurking around the sewers.
She would briefly mention that to Stitch as well.
Stitch kind of looks to you and goes, I don't know about you, but for my money, I'd chase that up. Pretty sweet, pretty toot sweet. That's not a fucking coincidence.
Well, I do know someone who knows the sewers.